You know, I've been thinking about the malware epidemic on Android, and it got me to thinking even further, and I was thinking back to a um, to an event that was held, I think it was in Australia. Walt Mossberg, the Wall Street Journal technology columnist, was there, and he was discussing essentially why the iPhone mattered to the consumer electronics industry. And he basically summed it up, and I'll try to sum it up for you in the easiest way I know how, which is to say that your iPhone, oops, your iPhone, your Android device, your Windows Phone device, and your WebOS device. What do they all have in common? They are all pocket computers. Let's think about this. Every single one of these, at this point in time, has a 1 gigahertz processor aboard. The 1 gigahertz processor is something that was within a laptop not more than a decade ago. 512 meg of RAM, same deal, not more than a decade ago. The difference is the operating system has been tweaked to be used on a mobile environment, but that doesn't change the fact that it is still a desktop class operating system. iOS is based on Mac OS X. Android is based on Linux, the Linux kernel. Windows Phone 7 is based on Windows. WebOS is based on Linux. Now, Mac OS X is written essentially in all the components that you would find Mac OS X written on the desktop. Again, it's the same business. Android is written in Java. I don't know what the heck Windows Phone 7 is written in. I guess whatever the regular Windows operating system is written in. Don't quote me on that. WebOS, I'm going to assume JavaScript and other similar languages, because essentially what WebOS is it's a convergence of your local apps and your web life. But again, these are all pocket computers. People don't see them as such. They see them as phones, and they think phones are not computers. Well, what do you do on your iPhone? What do? You surf the net, you chat with friends, you watch videos, you check your email. These are all things that we were doing on desktops not even 5 years ago. And we're now doing them on these devices in our pocket that are extremely powerful. Under the hood, these, while technically called smartphones, are not smartphones. What they really are is, I think they need to be rebranded with some other name, because their true entity is that of a pocket-sized computer, a pocket-sized, fully functional computer with, you know, the ability to go online, the ability to run some very powerful apps, compared to even a few years ago. It's a pocket-sized computer with phone software built into it. Phone software and hardware built into it. But that's what Android especially has really become. Android and iOS, WebOS, and your Windows Phone. All of them are pocket computers. The trouble is, a lot of people, now I'm saying a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people's not everybody, okay? A lot of people are not aware of this. They think that a phone's just a phone, not a computer. They don't realize the potential that these devices actually have under the hood. And as a result, malware developers are really taking advantage of this. So, how to protect yourself? Well, number one, and it goes without saying, and I apologize for having to word it this way, I do not mean any offense to anybody. But don't do anything stupid, you know? Don't download anything that looks suspicious. For instance, there's a PDF exploit in iOS. Don't look at PDFs and you'll be fine. I'm not saying you're going to be completely safe, but the one great thing about iOS is, thanks to the app approval system, as long as you don't jailbreak your device, the chances of you being infected have been reduced, not eliminated, reduced by a significant amount. Android, the best way to stay protected on Android is don't root your device, stick to the Android market, and just be extremely careful. Read the reviews, and when you download an app, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is the coolest app, I'm going to download it. And they're thinking, oh, come on, come on, come on, next, 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 click. They don't pause to read what they really should be reading, which is a list of software and hardware privileges that the device needs to access. For example, if a bank account application wants to access your phone book, that's a red flag right there. Also, there have been some really seedy pieces of code. I trust you've heard of Droid Dream. That's an example of how a lot of people, again, a lot, not everybody, but a fair few, of people, mostly the smartphone newbies who never touched a smartphone before. They're coming from a basic phone. They think a phone's just a phone. Again, they don't realize that the smartphone is really a pocket computer with a phone attached to it. It's not necessarily a phone in itself. It's really taking a desktop PC, switching it over for a mobile experience, and putting it in your pocket. That's really what these smartphones are, is pocket computers. And I think if we were to treat them as such, we would be a lot better off as far as protecting ourselves. But those are just things that you might want to be aware of. And again, to continue from where I left off, with Google Android, just be aware, just read the reviews, stick to the market, do not root your device, and be aware of what your applications want to access. As for Windows Phone 7, it is so new that I really can't say anything about it. There's not even accessibility, for those of you who are wondering, and there won't be for a few more years. The interface is such a drastic departure from what Windows Mobile has been in the past that the assistive technology vendors have to start from the ground up. As far as WebOS, I don't remember. I believe there was an exploit somewhere in the JavaScript that was pretty easy to get into, but I don't remember the details. I just remember reading something about that on Engadget. Again, it just comes down to 3 simple words. Use common sense. Use the exact same type of common sense as you would on your Windows or Macintosh computer, and you'll be fine. Just be alert, and again, I apologize for having to word it like this, but to put it bluntly, just don't do anything stupid, you know? Anyway, but yeah, a lot of people, I think, need to realize that they need to treat their smartphones as they would their PC, because again, a smartphone is a computer. It's a different kind of computer, but it's a computer. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.